just carry on. Just I have some information to put to public domain this morning, or this noon rather. So I want to say hello to you guys that are out there. I want to see how many of you are on. Oh, fantastic. People are already on there. You know, can we move the camera a bit and start it from there, please? Thank you. So, basically, the reason why I'm on board now is because I cannot but let you know that when I have information within my domain, I am privileged and proud to bring it out to you straight away, because that is the purpose of it. Who is your angel? Tope Alabi asking is in one of our record. Who is your angel? Tani angel ire. The information I am bringing out shows that Tokunbo Olagbaye is your angel at this particular time to guide you quickly and to ensure that you are aware of the information that are in the public, that are within the stakeholders' power, the corridor of power. Once it reaches the corridor of power and it comes to my desk, my job is to make sure that I disseminate it to the public, to my fans, straight away. I have promised myself that once I have information that are true and authentic, I will from time to time disseminate to you, my fans, most especially that you can give it to your friends that are not aware of me. But my one is to make sure that you have it. Now, the reason why I'm out here today, first of all, can I say Merry Christmas to you guys there in advance? And I wish all of you a better 2018. I cannot but continue to say I appreciate you, I love you guys, because you are all wonderful with your support from the inception of 1st of January 2017 to this time. Like Tope Alabi said so many times in most of our music, one of it that I grab most is that who is your angel? Who is your angel? Is it your prophet? Is it your lawyer? Is it your shepherd? Is it your leader in the church? Who is your angel? And the only way to know who your angel is when you are receiving something from that person from time to time and you are not upset and you are happy, then you know that this person is assigned for me. This is my angel. This is the person that is helping me, that is giving me the information that I require from time to time so that I will not fall foul. And that's the reason why I'm in the public domain here. Now, if you look at the topic that I put out there on our wall straight away, what I said there is that banks and building societies will be required to undertake status checks as of 1st of January 2018. So as soon as they open to public from 2nd of January, they will have that enormous power confirmed to them by the Secretary of State and the government of this country, United Kingdom. Basically, what he's saying is that in that letter and email to us is that they will be required to undertake quarterly checks to everybody in the country. Go and bring your paper, go and bring right to remain in the UK, go and bring your British passport. They will be required from 1st of January to ask that question from time to time. But crucially, a lot of people don't understand that when government is doing things like that, they're not going to do it in a way to say that they are racist against somebody or they are prejudiced. They're going to check on all of us. Now, where people that don't have status will be caught in between is when they cannot produce their passport. Because if I go to Halifax and Halifax said, go and get me your passport to know that you are Tokunbo Olagbaye, I will not have any problem. I will go home, get my passport because they are trying to protect my rights. Now, how do you think like that? Is it because of fraud checks they are doing that, or they are doing it, you know, to control the people in the country? I actually cannot really understand what is going on. But what I want us to do now, I want us to critically look into the problem and rub mind and see what is happening, because my video is something that is in the public all the time. So people will pick it up from time to time. But from 1st of January, please be aware that the banks are now required to undertake checks. So I want you to be aware of that. So let's rub mind now and let's take questions from people. Thank you. That's it. So thank you. You know, so the situation we are now is that we need to know how this can be done, how this can be controlled. You know, we cannot leave it to continue the way it is at the moment. So what are you thinking? What are you thinking? From 1st of January 2018, the banks and building societies in the UK will be required to undertake checks on people in the UK that are banking with them. They're not going to necessarily pick you because you are black or you are white or you are tall or you are short. They're going to pick you at anybody. It's an undertaking that has to be, that people have to go through. Now let me read their email to you, so you will know that it's not fake. From 1st of January 2018, banks and building society, thank you, banks and building society will be required to undertake quarterly immigration status checks on all existing customer current accounts. Following this, the Home Secretary may then require the bank or building society to close any account or product operated by or for a person who does not have leave to remain in the UK. Those subjects to the requirement should act now to ensure that they have appropriate systems in place to conduct these checks, and also to ensure they have taken sufficient steps to manage the consequences of regulatory or contractual risk that might arise where account needs to be closed. Bank will be in trouble in the first instance. That is something that I am aware of from day one. Bank will definitely, in no doubt in my mind, be in trouble in between because they will make mistake. They will make mistake. So that is the problem. You know, so the problem is bank will definitely make mistake. So the situation here is that how do we go about it to ensure that innocent people are not caught in between? That's one question. The second question is, what is government trying to achieve in this kind of checks? Because this is not a situation whereby you can say there has to be balance and checks to draw up whether government is right or wrong. It is true that government has power to pass law at all times. But then the situation here is that you and I, if you can think the way I am thinking, you will know that government want to flush out. That is the reason why this checks has to be carried out, or this regulatory is introduced and coming out in January 2018. But before then, I put my head out and I stick it out again before then. If you are out there and you think that something is not right on your paper at the moment, make sure that your bank account doesn't have a juicy currency, juicy money, so that it will not be closed all of a sudden on you. Although bank must carry out proper regulatory checks before accounts can be closed. But then the situation here is that, please share this because it's so important. Thank you, Jare. You are we. Toluwa lo ma share now. You understand? Thank you, Jare, my dear. Do you understand? So it's so important that banks carry out checks, but they have to be careful because they will make mistake and close account of somebody like me down. Yes. They will make mistake and close account of someone in my status, someone in my situation. They will make mistake and close it down. And as a result of that, no doubt in my mind, there is every possibility that a lot of people, many people will get caught up in the web. They will get caught up in the web. They will get caught up in the web, definitely. So the situation here is that how do we go about it? You understand? How do we go about it? I'm on 07908 628240. I'm on 07908. You understand? I'm on 07908 628240. You know, I've mentioned this around I think around August or September. I came out to mention this. I remember vividly. But it's not a joke anymore. It is not a joke. It's now coming out as real. It's not a joke. It's not a joke anymore. So, my 2 cents. Well, your advice, God bless you. Thank you, that you look where I can be a good person. Yes, you are. We thank you, my dear. You understand? You see, and I'm trying not to be a naughty girl, but at the same time, you have to be naughty when Christmas is coming, because kids are so happy. But the situation here, it's something I want you to take serious. Tanya Gelie, who is your angel? I have come out as your angel today, 22nd of December 2017, to put it out there to the public to understand what government intends to do as of 1st of January 2018 regarding banks and building society accounts held in the UK bank. The bank accounts held within the United Kingdom will go through stringent scrutiny from 1st of January. Now let's assume 1st of January is holiday. From 2nd of January, it will happen. Thank you, Buki. Thank you, Buki. Buki said September. Thank you, Buki. Thank you so much. I love people of intelligence like this that are on board all the time and can, remind me. Thank you so much. Thank you. If you have your applications at the Home Office and it's not being granted, your situation is as the same as the person that hasn't got anything inside as well. Unless if you have previous leave. But if you don't have previous leave and the application is at the Home Office and it's not being granted, might be a Wolas account. Might be a Wolas account. Don't put fat money there. You understand? Let's be serious. Don't worry about that. You see this question you just asked, and Michael, let me pin it for people to look at. And Michael, that was a fantastic question, but don't be deceived. Let me tell you one thing in this country. There is proper way of controlling things and the way things are checked here. Now, hello? Morning to you, morning. Same to you, thank you. Same to you. I'm on a public chat now. Right now? Yes, I'm on Facebook now. Public. Oh, really? Yes. I thought you were Now, I am in the office and I'm on Facebook. No, you can't. You can't.
So I should go on the chat.
So you should just book your appointment later on. Do you understand?
Okay, after today.
Yes.
Do you
Yes.
mean I should book my appointment with you after now?
After when I finish my program, you can book your appointment with me.
Okay, I'll call and chat with you and see if I can put my question through.
No problem.
Alright, thanks so much.
Goodbye.
Okay, bye.
So the situation we are talking about is that it's going to happen. Now the question Han Michael is saying there, let's have a look again. Because it says inform those who are unaware, and that's why you can see me out here. This is from the from Foreign and Commonwealth Office. Yeah. You know. I want to look at Michael's and Hans comments properly and see how I can pieces it properly for public to understand. You know, when things are coming up like this, I want to pieces it in a way that people can understand it much better, much better. You know. Okay, and Michael is saying that good afternoon, sister. Some people was born in this country. They don't have passport, only birth certificate, both black and white, and no driving license. So it means that they cannot open account. They can open an account because their date of birth will determine their right to be in the UK. And if bank is smart enough, bank will pick it up from there. You see, for white people, don't let me deceive you. Let me speak bluntly. Because I cannot put words under tongue with my experience and my exposure and my qualifications and my status and my stature. I cannot put words under tongue. The situation about white people are different. This particular regulatory system introduced purposely to flush out non-status person in the UK. If that is the way you want me to speak, I am confident to say it. The purpose of this stringent scrutiny is to flush out, is to reduce fraud. A lot of people open fake accounts in the United Kingdom, and yet they don't have one right to remain in the UK. And they use it to hurt people. They use it to disseminate. They use it to destroy. They use it to buy, to do so many things in the UK. And those who have that right are unable to access that right. So when government introduce regulatory system like this, there is always a reason behind the scenario. It will not just be introduced anyhow. Please share this and let people take common sense from this chart. It is about open banks and bank accounts in the UK. If you don't have leave to remain in the United Kingdom, you may lose that account. Come what may be, January 2018. You are more likely to lose that account come what may be from 2018, 1st of January. The question and Michael is asking, pretty straightforward to answer. When a white person takes birth certificates to bank to open account, they will ask him or her to go and bring driver license and proof of address, and it will be opened because it's white. So it's British, automatic. It is assumed. If it's European will be asked to go and bring his British passport. If he bring in birth certificate, European birth certificate, go and bring a European passport if it's European birth certificate. But if it's white British, or white British will not be asked too many, because there are so many people in Nigeria that doesn't have Nigerian passport. So the same thing applicable in the United Kingdom. There are many indigents here that doesn't have British passport because they don't need it. They've never traveled out of the country. And they go to the bank with their international driver license, their driver license and their birth certificate to do what they want to do. Most of them, their account has been open since they were born. So they probably go and use their bring daddy or whoever has passport. Bank will not go through that too much or in detail. Quote my word. The reason why this was introduced is basically the banks are having problems with fraud. A lot of people use names to go into people's accounts, to open bank accounts online. And as a result of that, people's names are being used carelessly. So introduction of this kind of regulatory thing, government knows exactly what they are doing. It just is a shame that when a criminal is being punished, an innocent person will be punished as well. When a guilty person gets punished, an innocent person will get whacked in between. That's all I can say. The innocent will definitely, get themselves whacked in between this journey. But the essence of introducing these stringent checks is basically to reduce fraud, to control it, to calm it down completely. Because when one person is having 10 bank accounts, 20 bank accounts in different names, I think it's really unfair to us that work hard to get things done properly. I think it's unfair to us. And that is why government now decided that if a person is paying taxes and has leave to remain and has something to lose, they will be careful to hurt or to step on toes of the authority. And this is why I always say to you people, don't move with somebody who doesn't have anything to lose. Because at the end of the day, I can buy you a journey, who will just finish you. Because he's got nothing to lose. She's got nothing to lose. But somebody who has something to lose, when you associate with them, when you mingle with them, when you wine and dine with them, they are careful to hurt you because they have something to lose as well when you want to take revenge on them. So they are careful. When somebody is telling you that he doesn't care or she doesn't care, she has nothing to lose, change your lane. Change your lane immediately. You must change your lane as soon as you hear that words that I don't care, I have nothing to lose. There are so many girls I have dropped in the journey. There is a lady that I intentionally don't want to talk to anymore, and she's in the UK. Because she mentioned statement that she doesn't have anything to lose. I don't care. She said she doesn't have a child. She doesn't have a mother. She doesn't even have a husband at that time. So she said to her boyfriend that she doesn't care if he's dead, that she doesn't have anything to lose. That kind of person, you cannot associate your life with them. And that's what bank is trying to come up with. Invariably, that's what bank is trying to do. Don't associate with somebody who doesn't take life serious, who see life as nothing, and who see you as somebody that just want to use you in one day and dump you. That kind of person is a riffraff. She's nobody. It's nobody. So you don't want to associate yourself with that kind of person. And ever since I have heard that statement from that lady, I have made my mind up that even if I see her from distance, I will only say hello and go. Because somebody who have said that to you, you should be away from them by miles. And that's what bank is trying to do. Because all the problems in the bank are as a result of people who doesn't care about us in the UK. So as soon as they clear what they want to clear, they will leave UK to go and live in another country again and start splashing that money carelessly. And people will think those of us who are here, we are not making it. It's because we are trying to work within the law. So at a certain stage in life, you will want to blame government, but when you look at the scenario and the rationale behind the reason of introduction of that regulatory system, you will agree with the government that because of me, my children coming or my grandchildren, I think this is worth supporting. I'm not saying that is the finest, but I'm taking you back into a real life scenario to let you understand the way life works. When you are dealing with somebody who is telling you, "Òun ò lọ́mọ láyé, òun ò care, òun ò dẹ̀ lọ́kọ, òun ò care sí nǹkan tí ìbá ṣẹlẹ̀ sí anybody or sí lágbájá, òun ò lose anything, òun kúkú níyà," that kind of person, you should stop befriending him or her and get yourself miles away from that person. Because when you are doing something better, that person will jealous you and will want your downfall at any time. And this is why bank, under the right stringent scrutiny, introducing that checks. so that those who are using different names, who have nothing to lose, will not affect us that has a lot to lose if bank collapse tomorrow, if bank crumble tomorrow. In 2007, when we had our turbulence in the United Kingdom, it was a time I moved houses. So we changed house at that time, bought a bigger house. It was the year that the bank collapsed. The banks collapsed in this country with economic crunch. Turbulence was so huge. And believe me, as a lawyer practicing in conveyancing, land and property law at that time, I can vividly tell till today that the result of that collapse was as a result of people who has nothing to lose, who put every weight on the bank's checks by taking mortgage that they cannot afford to pay back. And as a result of that, banks couldn't afford to, government has to start bailing banks out. If you were in the country at that time, Northern Rock collapsed. It was the government that intervened and rescued some of the banks in this country so that they will not bring shame to us. When people are taking mortgage of 150-something thousand pounds and only earning, for God's sake, 10,000 in a year or 11,000, it was as a result of them having nothing to lose, out of greed, out of carelessness, or carelessness, I would say rather, beg your pardon, that makes us have that problem in the country. And those of us who were practicing conveyancing, property law at that time, we smell it ahead of the game and realize that there is a problem in the country, because all the mortgage offers on my desk were recalled back. I was representing banks. I was representing Bank of Scotland, Halifax, Abbey National, now Satender. I was representing Mortgage Express, Northern Rock, and many affluent banks at that time. That is both banks I represented in terms of checking mortgage documents, in terms of releasing money, in terms of making sure the property is worth and it's worth what they call for. Do you understand? But because of people that we have around us that has nothing to lose and don't care about us, they took mortgage on properties. After some time, they took out the equity on those mortgage and they left country and left the building eggshell, empty, and went off. Bank will have to start picking up the pieces and pieces there. At that time, I represented again some clients that the banks decided to take the property back from them, but they were innocent. But those that have nothing to lose, they have already left United Kingdom with big money because they have taken equity. Equity means profit. When you look at the property and say this property, you took mortgage from the bank 200,000 at that time, and 2 years later or 3 years later, the property now worth 230,000 or 240,000. After when you have taken all your expenses and pay back the 200,000 or look at the 200,000, the remaining on it is what we call equity in law, and that's your profit. So they take 100,000, some people take 150,000, some take 50,000, and they run off. And when somebody take 100,000, 150, 50,000 on about 5-10 properties, what do you expect them to? How do you expect them to live back there? How do you expect them to live? Of course they will. Of course they will live flamboyantly. They will live extravagantly, because they don't care anymore. They have nothing to lose because they have taken what they can take from us in the UK, and now it is now left for us living there to start picking up the pieces and start putting it together like a jigsaw. So when you are in the country and you remember the scenario, the history, the problem at that time, the introduction of these stringent checks coming up, you will want to agree that it's worth doing at a certain stage. Let's hear this person. Hello? Yeah, hi.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm on a live chat. Are you okay?
No.
Okay, so you call back, please.
Okay, on the same.
So the situation is, I always want to relax myself when government introduce law. I am a lawyer to the call. I am a qualified solicitor of the Supreme Court. There is no doubt. And I will stick my head out at any time. Listen, this is my practicing certificate. So it is obvious that I am a lawyer from time to time. In fact, I have to fix on my 2017-18 now because I've just got the certificate back 2-3 weeks ago for the 2017-18. So which means that I can continue to eat for the rest of my life, you know. So it is there. But I want you to know that before that someone is, you know, if you don't understand why they introduce it, ask question, please. The reason why I am coming out to tell you people, my fans, my friends, my loved ones, my clients, my supporters, my loyal people, is for you to be alert. Government sent it out for us to send it out to you to warn you. And thank God for my public work. Because if I'm not in public, I would have just kept it to myself in the old days. I keep it and say that's their problem. But the relationship between me and public is too deep to ignore to tell you this. As soon as I have information that is privilege, that is not privilege, I will decide.